Christmas, everybody. Welcome to the Christmas Countdown Show. My name is Eric Petersen. I am here, as always, with my good buddy, Danny Jordan.
Rock and roll.
We are here. You have made it to the Christmas Countdown Show. This is episode 3, season 4. I always like to tell people where they are, just in case they, you know what they should have is they should have some sort of feature on Spotify or wherever people listen to their podcasts where you can just like randomly listen to an episode.
Oh, that's fun.
That'd
like
be
shuffle.
Yeah, like shuffle, but for podcasts. That'd be fun.
That would be interesting because, like, if it dropped you in the middle of, like, say, season 3 and you're learning about, I don't know, like songs of Jingle Bells, right? And then the next one is Onions in season 1.
Yeah, could be
that
fun.
might be kind of fun.
That could be
I wonder
fun.
if anyone's ever done that.
Somebody should do it. Somebody do it and make a YouTube channel out of it.
Yeah,
I love
remixing the Christmas Countdown
That's
show
right.
podcast.
That's right. But welcome, everybody. You've made it. This is the Christmas Countdown Show. I am Eric. This is Danny. We got our producer extraordinaire, Chris Sisley, coming to us live from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We have our good friend Emilio, who's sitting in a chair.
In his Lego room over
in
here.
his little Lego room. Now you have to make that on the green screen.
He has been.
Wait, no, he just left the Lego room, and now he's at the North Pole.
Hey, Emilio.
wait.
Oh, he's so cold.
Oh, wait, no. You look kind of hot. I feel like you're in the tropics now.
Oh, look at him. He's in the islands hanging out. There's Santa J. Claus in the background.
Now, here's the best part about this, is that Emilio has to edit all of this, so everything that we add, he's like, stop talking.
Should we do like 5 more? That'd be kind of fun.
Oh, wait, look, now he's at Green Bay.
Now he's rooting for the Packers. Yeah.
Yeah. Boo,
Go, Pack,
boo.
go.
Now he's rooting for the Bears.
Boo.
Yay. Oh.
And then they threw a pass at the end of the game.
No, too soon. Too soon. Cannot do it. Cannot talk about it. Oh.
I'm sorry. Here's the thing.
I don't know that I can do the rest of the podcast. I've gone back to my...
We actually got a review about
sad-
this recently.
Yes,
I don't know
about
if you
how
saw-
we
during
talk
our
about Bears
off-season,
and...
they're like, too much sports.
Deal with it, people.
Isn't that funny?
That is so funny.
I never would have thought people would accuse us of talking about sports too much on
I
a
feel
Christmas
like we barely
podcast.
talk about it. Considering how much we talk about sports off the air.
We were just talking about it before we came on because the Dodgers are 1 game away from winning the World Series. By the time this episode drops on Monday,
They very
the
well
4th,
could have
they could be
won.
World Series champs, and I might have been at the parade.
Yes, this is
I
true.
don't know.
I got to say, speaking on champions, I have to brag on my kids for a second
Ooh,
here.
bragging out.
Because we had a championship weekend.
Weekend
The
full
whole
of championships.
weekend was filled with championships in the
Okay.
Petersen household.
Tell me more.
On Saturday, my daughter Sophie, while very sick, so amazing to her that she just pushed through in general, went to her first high school speech tournament.
Wow.
Where she did dramatic interpretation. And so that's in the mixed interpretation category, I guess.
Okay.
I never did speech team. I don't know all these things, but I'm learning. But she went to this thing. It was a bunch of high schools from around Southern California. She made it through 3 rounds, then made it to the finals, and then won the whole tournament. She got first place. It was so cool.
Make some noise for
so
Sophie.
proud of her. It was very cool. And then that was on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Miles' flag football team have had the way that they do it is they do the playoffs and the Super Bowl all in one day.
Oh,
so
cool.
they had to win 3 games in a row where like the game ends. You have 5 minutes. You start the next game.
Oh my gosh.
5 minutes. Then
That's
you start
exhausting.
the 3rd game, and they won the Super Bowl.
So they won all 3 games?
They won all 3 games.
Dude, that's incredible.
So we had 2 kids with championship trophies, not participation trophies,
Right.
but championship
That's
trophies.
amazing.
It was very exciting. So
Do we want to get into the participation trophy debate, or should we save that for
we'll save that.
another?
We'll save that for parenting.
For sports countdown or
sports and parenting
something like
countdown.
that.
Yeah. Can we pause for 1 second just because Sophie is actually calling me?
Oh, okay.
This word that she said.
Yeah.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Is she pocket dialing
She
you?
butt dialed me.
Should we keep that in the show?
Yes, keep it in the show.
Okay, let's keep it in
I
the
thought
show.
she was sick because she is sick right now. And
Yeah.
so I'm being a good dad, had to answer the phone, but she butt dialed me.
My dad butt dialed me the other day, and I was like really nervous for a second because
What you were going to hear?
well, my dad has had some health struggles over the last few years, and like I was like, is he okay? And like I could hear he was like moving around.
Yeah.
And so like, when you're younger, you're like, oh, must have butt dialed. But I was like,
Sure, yeah.
is he on
You
the
gotta
floor
answer
somewhere? I
You
was
gotta
like,
answer that
Pops!
call.
I was like screaming. I was like, Pops! Can you hear me?
Right.
And he never responded. And then he sent me a text later in the day, like saying he mailed me something. So I'm guessing he's totally
He didn't
okay.
even realize it.
Thankfully, yeah, exactly. But no championship trophies in my house over the weekend. Just
That's right.
Just a sick little babe. Apparently, it's going around right now
Yeah.
because I've got a 3-year-old who's sick at home.
Rhinovirus is what the doctor told us.
Is that what it is?
That's what they said.
What is that? But that's the Is that like a
yeah,
cold thing
yeah?
or
Like
thing?
Sophie had a fever last weekend, but now she's just like at that place where she's like just draining snot out of her face, and then she got pink eye and the whole thing.
Being a parent is awesome.
It is.
So if you are one of those, I know we had a listener who is pregnant currently, so something to look forward to.
Get ready.
It's so fun. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's like a membership to the Jelly of the Month Club.
That's right.
That it is.
That was a good tie back into Christmas.
I was like,
that
how
was
do I
well
get
done.
this
That was
back
well
to
done.
Christmas for all the people who skipped ahead 15 seconds? And now they're like, oh, wait, they're talking about Christmas. How'd they get there?
I'm back in.
Now you got to go backwards again. Anyway, glad to be back. If you are new to the show, please make sure you subscribe. We promise we don't talk about sports all the time.
No.
But we do
Occasionally.
just occasionally when it's all a mode.
We're dads.
And we're dads, and we just want to give you our authentic selves here. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. And if you are loving what you're hearing, please make sure you rate and review the show wherever you are listening, Apple, Spotify, all the places. And Spotify has a new feature they've dropped over the last few months where in the past you couldn't leave a review, and you still kind of can't, but you can comment on specific episodes.
That's close.
So if you're listening to this one or something in the back catalog and you're like, I want to comment on this and let these guys know how awesome they are.
Yeah.
You can do that, and we will see it. We get alerts on our phones. And you can follow us on social media at Christmas Countdown Show on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and you can watch full episodes, which is super exciting as well, at youtube.com/Countdown Network, where you can see our, lovely dad faces, as well as
Disney Countdown.
Disney and theater and any other shows that we launch in the future will be there. So make sure you subscribe to that, and you can click the link in the episode notes to get to that. Another thing I want to touch on, Eric, is, we talk a lot about the Patreon.
Yeah.
Right? And our Patreon is growing. This always happens at the beginning of every season, right? We get, some people who maybe took the off season off, they're coming back. And then we get a lot of new people who start discovering the show, and they want to get full access to us, on our private Facebook group and the bonus episodes and ad-free episodes. If you're a person who's not doing that already, you can click the link in the episode notes and you can join our Patreon. But we do want to do something new and shout out the people who've joined.
Yes.
Since we last recorded. Do you want to shout them out?
Yes, I would love to. So we have some new members, and the new members are Marianne. Welcome, Marianne. Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining. We have Lori. Hi, Lori.
Lori.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
I want to say Laurie, but she doesn't spell it like that. She spells it Lori.
Yeah. Are you talking like Lowry because you want to put like a Boston accent on
Lowry.
it? Lowry. But what it made me think of was Lowry's seasoned salt, which is my favorite.
You put that on some avocado?
I put it on everything, buddy.
Little eggs.
I put Lowry's on everything.
I put it on my tongue when I'm feeling it.
I do, absolutely. So, hello, Lori, or Larry. We also have Nathaniel. Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining, Nathaniel. Nate Dogg.
That's the first time I've ever seen Nathaniel spelled like that.
It's a very interesting. Nathanael.
Hopefully it is Nathaniel.
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel. That's like a telenovela.
Yeah. Or a Harry Potter spell. Nathaniel.
I flew like across the set.
It worked.
It's real.
It worked. Sarah, welcome, Sarah. Welcome to the Patreon. Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining. We got Leanne. Hello, Leanne.
Hello.
That's another good name to say with a Boston accent. Leanne. Leanne, come here. Come here, Leanne.
It sounds, but that's like a name of people who are like in their 70s who are from Boston, right?
But Leanne might also be in her 20s.
She might be. And her father's like, because he's a father.
I love the name Leanne.
Leanne, it holds a special place in my hat.
Absolutely. We also have Anna. Welcome. Merry Christmas, Anna. Thanks for joining.
Yes.
Kim. Hello, Kim.
Kim.
Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining the Patreon. We have a great person
named
Eric. I joined the Patreon finally. No, it's not me. It's a different Eric. So, Eric, and you spell it the correct way.
Oh, no. I just realized it's not supposed to be Eric. It's supposed to be Aaron.
Aaron. Sorry, Aaron, but you also have a great name.
And if we happen to get an Eric,
then you
Aaron is my sister's name.
It's pre-recorded now. No.
It is. Yeah, exactly. We're ready. Eric, thank you.
But Aaron, Merry Christmas. Welcome to the Patreon.
Welcome, Aaron.
And last but not least, we have Pam. Merry Christmas, Pam. Thank you. Pam.
Pam cakes. Pam fries.
Yeah.
You know what that's from?
Office, I'm guessing.
Yes.
I didn't know the reference. I just used context clues.
Pam. He goes up and like slams on the desk.
Yeah,
Michael Scott.
That tracks.
Anyway.
That tracks.
Well, welcome. And Pam actually joined our highest tier. We just updated, added some tiers because people were wanting sort of more benefits. And so Pam joined our tree topper. I was very...
You're proud of that.
I was really
title.
proud of that title.
I can just imagine Danny being like, what am I going to call it? Tree topper.
Yep.
Yes.
Because $5, 5 golden rings.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think is 10. I think it's Lords of Leaping. I want to say, and I was like, "What's the top gonna be?" Tree topper. It was so perfect. And if you join that level, you get a personal message from us.
Yes.
You also get a happy birthday message from us on your birthday. You get a special Christmas countdown show ornament.
Amazing.
Lots of fun stuff, discounts in our shop. You get to do virtual hangs with us. So if any of that interests you, clink. Just put a mug right into your phone right now, and you will.
If it works, if you take a mug and you just put it and you just clink it right up to the screen, it'll go through. Trust
It will.
us.
It's kind of like Apple Pay.
That's right.
It's called Mug Pay.
Clink
It's called
pay.
getting mugged. It's where we steal your money.
He can't be stopped, everyone. He can't be stopped.
I won't be stopped. It's just I'm in that mood today. But click the link. Now all I'm thinking of is link by link from A Christmas Carol.
Oh, sure,
The musical version, the non-Muppets version,
Yes,
where they're thinking
yes.
about link by link. Anyway, click the link in the episode notes, and you can join our Patreon.
If you like tangents like this,
Oh my gosh!
we should really call this the Tangent Show.
Tangent countdown.
Yeah, or we should get
Where
like
it never ends.
never. It just goes tangent to tangent to tangent.
It's like the song that never ends.
Yeah, this is the
Podcast that never ends.
Yes, it goes
Talk
on
about
and
sports,
on,
my friends.
I love it. All right, but what we are going to do next?
What are we going to do next?
We're going to do some reviews because we have a lot of great people who have reviewed the show as you requested them to do.
It's true.
And so, do you want to read our first review, Danny?
Yeah, we've got some
Reviews and fan messages.
We've got some lengthy ones today.
Okay.
I want to prepare people for this. A lot of people have, reviewed, but we also encourage people, if you maybe don't want to submit a review on a public platform because you don't want your name out there, you can email us, kringle@christmascountdownshow.com, and we will, either share your name, or if you want to remain anonymous, you can do that as
Tell
well.
us, because we will talk about your name.
We will make up a
has
song
been
about
seen.
it. It will become a 5-minute segment in
Yeah.
a show that's only supposed to be 70 minutes long. Anyway, this first one is coming to us from a longtime fan, is how they wanted to be referred
Fair.
to. And they said, Eric and Danny, exclamation point. I was so happy to find this amazing, heartwarming podcast. In 2022, I was searching for a Christmas podcast to listen to while I worked on my artwork for grad school. I was just starting to settle into married life and working on my art degree, so life was a bit crazy. After the first episode, I was hooked. It made everything that I was doing seem more enjoyable. It's been a difficult year for my hubby and I, so I needed to listen to something with joy and fun, and the Christmas Countdown show definitely helped. I'm currently getting my husband to listen to this show with me.
What up?
He isn't as into Christmas as I am.
Get into it.
Get into it, brah. We plan to listen to the new episodes this upcoming season together.
Right.
I've loved Christmas since I was little and am all about decorating for Christmas early, right after Halloween. My husband has always been a wait till Thanksgiving guy, but he is willing to put up with my Christmas craziness earlier on.
That's love.
That is love. I always love that you guys share the same faith that I do. Christianity is very important to me, as it is the true reason for the season in my book. Thank you for such a family-friendly, fun, and massively merry podcast. Sincerely, a longtime fan.
I love it.
Isn't that nice?
Thanks, fan.
Thanks, fan.
Fan. Longtime fan.
First-time caller.
First-time caller.
First-time emailer.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for that. And we're so glad that you've been listening. And what's up to your husband?
What up, Hubs?
What up, Hubs? I love it.
better
Okay,
start
this
decorating.
next one that I have is from Whiskey 79.
But it's spelled like two different ways.
WHSKE. Whiskey. And whiskey.
Do you think they had multiple whiskeys while they were writing
Maybe.
their username?
Or do you think they ran? Is there a limit of how long you're? No, there's definitely not a limit of how
there's
long.
not.
Because remember that one that we had? Yeah. Okay, so Whiskey 79 said, these guys used to be. But again, we can't read the full titles, which is a running gag.
Yes.
But these guys used to be. I'm going to guess by the first line of the review. It's, these guys used to be cool. These guys, wait, what kind of review is this, Danny? Okay, here we go. With 5 golden stars.
Yes.
So we got to see which way is this review going to go.
Okay.
It says, these guys used to be cool.
Okay.
Now, they don't even decorate for Christmas until after Halloween. The audacity. What's next? Their high-quality podcast with elite banter, excellent community, and great subscriber content gets put out later than the first week of October? I catch your sarcasm, and I appreciate it.
Yes.
I love this review. This has been probably my favorite review that we've ever got.
That is
They
brilliant.
get it. They get the show.
They get it, and they just called back. If you missed the first episode of the season, we made a sort of like flippant joke about like, oh, those guys used to be cool. Yeah. So I love that person heard that to me. It was like, I'm putting that into a review. That is brilliant.
I love it.
Those are our people right there, and they get it. So thank you.
Whiskey. Thank you so much for the review. I love it.
What a great review.
Yes.
Those are our kind of people. I feel like we would be besties. All right, third one, and full disclosure, we have read this review already.
Yes.
And we'll talk a little bit more about it on the backside. But as we've always said on our show, we want to share every review that comes to us, be it a glowing review, a sarcastic review, or somebody who has some thoughts that they want to share with us.
We're not above criticism.
We are not at all. So this review is 3 stars, and it says, festive fun, except, ... And this comes to us from Sundog. It feels like the audience is a victim of the podcast's success. On season 4, they've cut their content in half, broadcasting 1 day a week versus the 2 a week they had been doing during the previous 3 seasons. They also decreased the amount of weeks they are broadcasting, starting late in October versus earlier. It seems like most of their content has moved over to a paid Patreon subscription. Still enjoy the podcast and look forward to it weekly. I hope they do not use this ration it down time to eat on the air anymore.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack there. But let me just jump off by saying thank you. Yes. Thank you for your honesty. I think what we have always wanted to cultivate here and foster here is a place where people can show up exactly as they are. It's why Eric and I have been very open about our journeys in life as being parents, as being human beings. It's why we have openly cried and grieved on this show, is that we believe that everybody should be able to have the full human experience. And
that's what podcasts are good for.
Yeah, is to show up and to be authentic. So I'm glad that what we have created here is resonating with people where they feel like they can write this in a public forum and tell us exactly what they are feeling. And I do want to address, and I'll wear this one, as we like to say in baseball, you wear it when you get hit by the pitch. We have shared, it was sort of like off the cuff in the first episode that we were only going to do 1 episode a week. And if you've been with us for a while, you know that we have done 2 episodes a week since 2021, when we first started this show. And we loved it, and we still would love to do that many episodes. But the reality is we were faced with a decision when we were looking to start season 4. If you've been a longtime fan, you know that we were fortunate enough in seasons 2 and 3 to have a really big sponsor, Hallmark Channel, sponsored our show, which we were so grateful for. Unfortunately, because of instability in the entertainment industry and many industries right now, as I'm sure so many people are well aware of out in the world, Hallmark Channel didn't come back on board in any capacity this year. Right. And then we had other potential sponsors that were maybe going to come on at a big capacity that fell through. Okay. And so Eric, Chris, Emilio, myself, we sat down and we talked about it, and we said, what are we going to do? Because at the end of the day, first and foremost, we are dads. We have families, we have wives that we have to show up for and that we have to provide for. And we've been fortunate that for the last few years, this has been one of those things that enables us to provide. But without that guarantee, we couldn't block out so much of our schedules, not knowing if this was going to provide for our families. Yeah. And it was a hard decision to make, and it wasn't one that we made with joy in our hearts, because we love making this show so darn much. We were just chatting before we started recording today of like, there's so much we want to talk about, but we only have 10 episodes to do it. And I'll address one more thing about starting a week later. The reason we did that was because
that was for you guys.
That was, well, it was, right? Because we looked at the schedule and we said, if we do 10 episodes, our finale will be on December 16th, which is 9 days before Christmas.
And that means we would record it, a few days
probably
before
the
that.
Second week of December,
and so I think one of the reasons that our show has always been so enjoyable, hopefully, to viewers, is that we do record pretty close to when these things air.
Yeah.
And we just feel that if we record our last big finale episode, and anybody that's been with us for a long time knows that those episodes are long and very emotional and all in the feels, if you record that on December, 10th, you're not really going to get that Christmas magic of recording it when it's like a few days before Christmas.
100%. When you're going to the sing along at your church and you're in that last minute sort of like sprint to get the gifts, like we wanted to give you guys all of that. Now, things can change. As we shared in a previous episode, which we're very excited about, we have partnered up with a company called Realm, who is actively trying to bring sponsors into the show. And if they can, we will gladly record more episodes. Nothing would make us, there are things that would make us happier, but like my children being happy and fulfilled. There are plenty of things that will make me happier. But one of the things that brings me the greatest joy in life, especially at this time of year, is being able to make this show and to connect with community. And we would love to be able to do that more. So please know that we appreciate you, Sundog, for reaching out to us and sharing your feelings. And if you're one of those other people who've been with us from the beginning, or you found us recently and you're a little disappointed that we're not bringing you as many episodes as we have in the past, please know that we're right there with you.
Yeah.
And we want to do more, and we hope to be able to do more. So thank you, Sundog, for sharing.
Danny, do you want a bite of this sandwich that I have?
Yeah. Oh.
Because that was the other complaint that Sundog had, is that we eat on the show.
I was like, where are we going with this?
Danny looked at me like, what are you because I don't actually have a sandwich for
But no, you're so funny. Like, I was like, this is going to be a great punchline, and I don't want to step on Eric's joke because I'm so bad about doing that.
Can I tell you something, going off what you're saying right now? We were moving a dresser from my son's room to my daughter's room over the weekend. And as we were carrying this dresser, me and Lisa, and Sophie's kind of standing there, I stubbed my toe really bad as we went into Sophie's room. And I made a face of just extreme pain. I was just like, oh my God. And Lisa and Sophie both just start laughing at me.
What?
And I'm like, I'm in a lot of pain. And Lisa goes, you get paid for a living to make like big goofy faces.
Yeah.
That's why you have a career. So you can't expect us, when you make one of these big goofy faces, to not laugh. Like, that's what you've conditioned us as your audience to do.
Oh, that's a good point.
Isn't that funny though?
That is really funny.
You sort of like could feel that I was heading towards a bit.
I was so ready for a bit, and I know that I'm so like infamous for stepping on your bits, and I'm trying after 4 years to be better about it. But anyway, if you have thoughts that you want to share with us, you can do so. If you're listening on Apple, you can leave a review while you're listening. You don't have to stop listening. You just scroll down, rate us, hopefully 5 golden stars. But if you have other thoughts you want to share, please share those with us as well. We welcome all of that, or you can email us again, Kringle at Christmas Countdown Show.
Hit us up on the socials.
Hit us up at Christmas Countdown Show. But yeah, I think that review and us sort of delving deeper into that really aligns with the theme of this episode, which we didn't set up.
Which we didn't say, and I'm going to say, gosh, we're trying to get better, folks. Give us time.
Give
it's
us
only
like
the
7
4th
seasons,
season.
and we swear we will get there, please.
The theme today is the top 10. I should pull it up, otherwise I'm going to say
forgot?
it wrong. Well,
I texted to you last night.
No,
at like
I know
10
you
o'clock.
did. Okay, here we go. It is the theme today is the top 10 holiday season feelings.
Yeah.
Feelings.
It's a very broad
We're going to get
definition.
into it. Once we get to the countdown.
We will.
Which is hours away.
But this is all about...
Not hours.
Yeah, buckle up. See, the thing is, we may only be giving you one episode a week, but man, it's a long episode.
It's a lot of content.
And Eric loves that. He's like, when we finish recording, Eric looks at me and goes,
oh, we're finished already?
Already? Don't you think we could have gone for at least another 2-3 hours at least?
Danny, there is something we need to address, though. Okay. What was our topic last episode? Was top 10 Christmas soundtracks.
Christmas movie soundtracks, yeah.
Now, Danny finished. We were done with the recording.
That's true.
We're all heading home. And we get a late night emergency text from Danny.
It's true.
Because Danny is distraught. He can't even fathom. He said, we can't put it out on the air. We need a retraction. We need a reprint. Stop the presses.
It's true. It's the first time in the history.
Tell him what you felt.
I felt like I had put the wrong selection at 1 and 2.
And it's our podcast, so we can do whatever
we can do whatever the heck we want. And if you're like, wait, what was 1 and 2? I got to go back, stop listening to this episode. And if you didn't listen to parts 1 and 2 of our Christmas movie soundtracks, go back and listen to it now. And then come back and listen to this so you'll see the full payoff. But now that you've done that, welcome back. I put Muppet Christmas Carol at number 1. Mm-hmm. Great soundtrack.
Thought it was great.
I put Home Alone at number 2.
It was shocking to me.
I know. It was shocking to me.
Yes.
I left, Eric, and it literally was running around in my head for like the rest of the day. And
this
then
just shows you how much we care, folks.
I care so much about this darn show and being authentic here.
Yes.
I care so much about it. And it resonated with me so much that I spent like 30 minutes in my therapy session over the weekend talking to my therapist about my connection to Home Alone versus my connection to Muppet Christmas Carol.
I love that.
This is where we're at in our lives right now. And it was like such I think I used the word like existential, like when we were talking. I don't know if that's a proper use of that word, but it's very
perfect use.
Was it okay? It's very human, right?
Yes.
Like existence, right? And I'm even still torn in this moment thinking about it.
Really? I thought that you had settled.
But that was before I talked to my therapist.
Oh, geez. Then you opened up a new can of worms.
I got so deep into this. And here's
Rizzo the rat really speaks to me.
I've always felt like a rat. You know what I mean? I've always felt like I had a big schnoz like Gonzo. No, this is how I broke it down.
Okay.
I am at a transition point in my life between being Kevin McAllister and Kermit the Frog. And that's why I'm so torn, because I was like, I feel like I've been Kevin, like, and to an extent.
And letting go of Kevin to accept your full responsibility as Kermit is hard to do.
100%. Yeah. And I'm like, should I really be going this deep about a movie soundtrack?
But it means more.
When it's really about the soundtrack and not necessarily about the movie. But it was like this really deep thing. And I was like, well, maybe if I bring this up, this will inspire other people to think about, well, why do I have this connection to that song, to that film, to that character? And why am I feeling this conflict internally about maybe not being so connected to that character anymore and feeling more connected to this other character or this other film or this other song that when I was younger, I was anti or didn't mean anything to me. And I think the realization I've come to since we spoke and since we did that episode is that I am both. And to pick one over the other, I think would be denying my true self.
Sure.
Because I will always have a bit of Kevin McAllister because that was my life.
Yeah.
That was my upbringing. That feeling of being alone in between two families, that's my story. And I don't want to erase that part of my story because it's mine. Yeah. And it's what makes me unique, and it's what makes me empathetic. And I think it's what makes me care and value family time, because in a lot of ways, family time was fleeting for me when I was a kid, or I didn't know when I was going to see my dad. But at the same time, I look at Kermit and his story and just the idea of redemption in the story of A Christmas Carol and what that stands for. And I'm like, that's my story too.
Yeah.
So I think to tie a Christmas bow on this one, Eric, what I would like to say is that they are both number one. That Kevin will always be a part of who I am and his story in the sense of feeling alone, but family being everything and just wanting more family. But also now being a dad to children who are navigating hardships in life and feeling that struggle, going back to what we were just talking about in that review, is that all I want to do is provide for my family and show up for my family and do it in whatever way I can. And I think that's who Kermit is. So.
And this is how Danny cheats and gets another option into his number 2 slot, because he's now taken 2 and put into 1.
No, but it's 1 and 1A.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I totally agree, and I think that is very wise and honest of you to sort of like break it down. And I think that there's probably a lot of people listening right now who are like, yeah, the reason that we do love this season is because it is deep and we do have a real connection to it. And it's not just, ooh, look at the lights. You know what I mean? So good.
That's what this episode, this countdown this week and next week is all about. It's all about feelings. And we hope that this show enables you to delve into your feelings and to go and to understand why you like what you like and why a certain thing connects with you. Because I think that's part of being a human, right? Is to figure out why we are who we are, and to also to understand that we may not be that person anymore. And that's totally okay. And it's also terrifying. Yeah. And that's okay too. And that's where I find myself in life. And frankly speaking, where I found myself for the last 3 years is this massive transition, which is what midlife is all about. And I'm grateful for this show because it enables me to come with some of my closest buddies, and Eric and Chris and Emilio and you all who are listening, and to navigate that in real time. So there is another elephant in the room, though.
Yeah.
A white elephant.
Ooh.
As some might say.
Interesting.
So as you know,
Before we started recording, I said, "What's in the bag?"
And what did I say?
He said, "It's a bit on the show. Shut up."
No spoilers. You shut up, Eric.
Shut up right
Remember
now.
you smacked me, you jerk.
Tell me what's in the bag.
That's why I've been turning the right side of my face away because you totally palmed me. I love to get gifts and more so give gifts.
Yeah.
And so I was out a couple days ago. I was at Home Depot.
Okay.
And I sent you a picture of something while I was there.
You did.
It doesn't fit in this bag, so don't get your hopes
I
up.
was going to say, I was like, I don't think that picture fits in there.
No, it does not. But I was shooting a video for our social media channels of this viral Buddy the Elf animatronic gone wrong sort of situation, which just go watch the video on our page because it's quite disturbing.
I voted yes on the video.
You voted yes?
Yes.
You would put it in your house?
I think so.
Did you see the picture on the box? Is literally it's standing in between the hearth and the Christmas tree in someone's living room.
Yeah.
Can you imagine your
I don't
children
know.
waking
I don't
up
think
and
I
going,
would put it there. I'd put it next to their bed so they would wake up and oh my gosh.
It's terrifying.
It's a little odd.
Especially, did you see the version I
face.
put on Instagram where I slowed it down? It was like, I'm singing.
Very funny.
Very funny. Anyway, while I was there recording this silly video, I was leaning on a display and I looked over to the second shelf and I saw something and I go, that is Eric Petersen, friends.
Okay.
So I got you your first gift.
The first gift of Christmas. All right, I love it.
That's technically the second.
We got
because
some
Emilio got a chair.
some
But
tissue. What's my first gift?
I had to go digging through my closet for Christmas bags, by the way,
Well, there you go.
because it's still October. Yes. What's in the bag? This is like Storage Wars.
Okay. Oh. Okay, I'll describe it because this is an audio medium.
I love that everyone's like just hearing you go,
like,
oh,
what is it?
ah.
Okay, this is I'm guessing it's going to dance or sing.
It does.
Because it feels that way. It is a little, not a figurine. What would you call this?
Like a doll.
doll.
I
You
don't-
got me a doll.
I got you.
It's a figure. It's a figure that you
Does
would
it
put
have
on your
like?
shelf.
Does it say on the tag what it is? What they call it?
It's called Animated Partying Cow
I mean,
because
there
I
it
love
is.
cows and I love Cow Christmas. The cow is wearing a festive Santa hat
Yes.
with some holly on it. He's wearing some overalls that say Mooey Christmas. I love that.
It was the only one they had.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
let's see what it does. We're going to press the button here.
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay.
I love this.
Isn't that cool?
That is so good. Now here's the real question.
Yeah.
Do I leave this on set so that everybody can enjoy it the whole time and I
Yeah.
can have it in every episode? Or do I bring it home and put it up in my house so me and my family who love Cow Christmas can enjoy?
Can I offer a third option?
Yes.
You take it home
Yes.
and have it there.
Yeah.
And then when you come back for the show, you bring it with
I
you.
bring it
just
each,
like your microphone.
each Monday.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do. I like that. I like
Eric,
it.
I'm just realizing in this moment,
What's
this
that?
totally has nothing to do with your cow. I broke a promise to our listeners.
That we were going to put our ornaments up.
We totally didn't do it.
It's all right.
But we have an excuse, or not an excuse, but a reason, justification is that my daughter is very sick, and I was home with her with a stomach bug, and I was late here today. So,
worries.
so we'll get to it for
We'll do
episode
it on the
4.
next
But I do have one critique of that doll,
Okay.
or animated partying cow. Why is it not singing a Christmas song?
That is interesting. I thought it was going to be a play into a more Christmassy thing, but I'm okay with it.
But even when I heard the song, I was like, I still have to get it.
Yeah.
Part of me wondered if they put the wrong voice box inside of it.
Maybe.
And it was like supposed to be like some like just a
Because it says on the tag, sings friends in low places.
Oh, he does. Okay. There you go.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah, I
that
love
I don't think we've
questions.
ever talked about.
Okay.
Okay, so you just gave me this very nice gift.
Yep.
In a nice Christmas bag.
True.
No tag on it. No shot on that. It was
You knew
being
who it was
handed.
from.
I knew who it was from. Don't need a tag. So this is now perfectly good.
Mm-hmm.
What is the proper protocol? Is this now my bag to use to re-gift to someone else? Is it better for me to say, hey, thanks for the present. You can have the bag back. I honestly don't know. This is a legitimate question.
No, it's so perfect because when I was picking your bag,
Uh-huh.
there was another bag in there.
That I had given to you?
No, that was really nice. And I didn't want to lose it.
You didn't want to give it up. Okay, that's fair. Okay, so maybe this is a question for the listeners. What do you think is the proper protocol? I get it. If a bag has writing on it, it's not my bag and it's probably going in the trash. But if this is now a decent, good bag, in good
size
shape,
bag too.
Good size bag, nice and Christmassy, good shape, whose bag is this?
I think it's your bag. It's your bag to decide whether or not you want to keep it.
Sure.
Or if you want to lob it out and say, did you want the bag back?
You want the bag back?
You know, it's yours. You do with it what you want.
I want you to have the bag back.
Oh, thank you, Eric.
There you go.
See, now we've established protocol.
I like this.
It's sort of like, I think we talked about this on season 1. We were talking about saving ribbons and bows.
Yeah, we talked about bows and stuff.
Because whenever we open gifts at my house, especially when my mom's
Save the
there,
bows.
save the
Save the
ribbon,
bows.
save the bows. Yeah, exactly. We never
talked
talked.
T-shirt.
Save the bows.
That's a good T-shirt.
Save the bows, save the world. Deep cut for NBC Heroes fans from back in the 2000s. I don't think as many people would get it. It should just say save the bows. We get a way too niche with and we're like, this is hysterical. Why aren't we selling any? It's like, we're the only ones who get it. But yeah, I think that's great protocol.
Yeah.
It should be a conversation.
So it's your bag. You have the option to give it up.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, but then you get into the social politics of it.
Yeah.
Am I like kind of classless if I don't offer it back to you?
See, we need more gray area in the world.
You're right.
You know, we've become very black and white. We've become very polarizing one way or another.
Sure.
And maybe this is a good representation, not to get political, but how we could have a civilized conversation about something that maybe both of us want. And then we find a resolution where everyone participates. Yeah. Anyway, just lobbing it out there.
Vote.
This was not on our agenda for today.
No.
But it might be on somebody else's. No, anyway. You can cut that part out. But just food for thought as we're navigating this, because I know this episode comes out for all of us here in the States the day before a big decision is going to be made. So maybe if we just decided to collectively talk to each other,
that might be good.
Maybe we might solve some things. Anyway, speaking of news,
yes,
let's get to some.
We interrupt our program to bring you this
Christmas news.
Coming to you live from outside Santa's workshop, it's Danny Kringle. I hadn't done that yet. I wanted to do that once.
You had to sneak it in.
I don't know if you watched the last episode, but I was like this the whole time, and I never actually did it. I'm like, people were like, is Danny's ear okay? Is he fine? So this is very exciting news.
Okay.
You and I, for the first time ever in the history of Christmas Countdown Show, are doing a live show.
Yes!
Make some noise, everybody.
This is great.
We are so excited. Our friends at Destination Big Bear, I connected with them when I was on my family vacation over the summer, as we like to do. And they were having some like quilting event going on in this big community center, and someone had a huge Christmas display. And I started talking to them, and the guy who runs Destination Big Bear was there, and he sort of heard what we were talking about. We got to talking, and he said, hey, what do you guys think about doing a live show up here the weekend of the tree lighting in the village in Big Bear, Southern California? So we are doing it on Saturday, November 30th in Big Bear Lake, California.
So exciting.
It's so exciting. It's right after Thanksgiving. They're going to do their tree lighting on Friday night, right there in the village, and then the next night will be the live show with Eric and Danny, and hopefully Emilio may make the trip up with us. We do have a room for him. Hopefully he'll join us, and there's a chair in that room, Emilio. So
that's it, just a chair.
It's literally, actually, it's just a chair.
That's what I'm saying. There's no bed or anything. It's just a room with a chair.
There's going to be a chair out on the patio, and it's just for Emilio. But we're super excited. Big Bear it's very idyllic. It feels very much like a Christmas town. So if you want to get tickets, we will put the link for that in the episode notes. They are on sale now. They are limited quantities. So hopefully you guys will join us if you're in Southern California or happen to be within driving or short flight distance. We know some of our Inner Circle Patreon peeps who got this news first. Some people from Utah have been saying they want to come. People from Idaho are going to be coming. So we will be there. It'll be a live show. Eric and I will be there with our families all weekend long. Yeah. We'll likely probably be at the tree lighting. So, you get to hang out with us, and then we'll do the live show. I'm sure we'll hang out, I don't know, at a restaurant or a bar somewhere in Big Bear. So please come join us. Click the link in the episode notes. I'm super excited for this. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. We've never done a live show, so this is going to be great.
I'm kind of nervous. Hasn't even happened yet.
But think about it. We're so good at staying on topic and
keeping it tight.
Don't ever, we look at us. We never We never have problems with that.
This
So
might
live
be the
shows-
tightest show ever because we have to be out by a certain time.
That's true.
So,
Yay.
yeah, Eric's like, finally, can we do all live shows from now on?
This show is only live. We'll do it live.
Yes, but hopefully you guys are able to join us. It's going to be super, super fun,
Yeah.
massively merry. We're going to do some giveaways and games, and there'll be music and merriment and fun, and we're trying to figure out how we can maybe get like a mobile like bartender or local restaurant to be in there serving drinks and food for everyone. So click the link in the episode notes, or you can probably go to our link tree and we'll put the link in there as well. Our first ever live show, November 30th. I'm stoked.
We have probably room for like maybe 2 more quick news bits before we get because we have a game and we got.
There's so much to get to. Yeah. Why don't you?
I'm gonna pick.
You pick the first one.
Okay, I'm gonna pick one of the news bits here.
Okay,
and that's gonna be that the Rockefeller Christmas tree for 2024 has been revealed.
Oh my God! Did you see it?
I did see a picture of it. Now the picture that I saw, I could not tell. Looked like it was still in the people's yard.
Yeah, they
It has
probably want
not
to keep
been
it there.
Cut down. At what point, Chris? You might know this. At what point do they cut down the tree to bring it to Manhattan?
I think it's coming in on the 7th. Is that right?
Oh, wow.
The November 7th. So they'll probably cut it
How
down
do
the
they
day
keep
or
it
so
like
before.
healthy and alive? Because that's a long time.
It is a long time.
Because I know that, you know, and we're going to chat about this later this season as we get closer to when most people buy their real trees and cut them down. Really excited about that. But like, if you get your tree like a month before Christmas, you're like struggling to keep it healthy. How are they keeping like a full size tree alive and healthy?
Does it go into a big pot of water?
Do you know, Chris?
There's probably some sort of like irrigation system. I know that my wife and I cut our tree down on Black Friday after Thanksgiving, and our tree lasts well into January.
Okay. Maybe it's just like a California thing. Maybe our environment isn't built for like, that's it.
We're too dry.
Well, I know you're supposed to like not have your AC blowing on it because it can dry out the tree. There's so much to think about. But man, the tree, honestly, I think it was Sasha or someone from our Patreon posted it on our main feed. Honestly, one of the most beautiful trees
Very full.
I've ever seen. A lot of sap, though.
A lot of sap.
Looks great.
I think I'd like to know more about how do you get on the list of like, listen, we got a tree. It's not ready yet. Come back to our house 4 years from now. It's going to be the perfect Rockefeller tree. I need to know more information about what that whole process is, what it entails. Frankly, I think that NBC or whoever is in charge of that.
Yeah.
You know how like in the Hall of Fame, more sports talk, for like the Football Hall of Fame when they get the knock on the door and then it's like the same guy every year who's like, welcome to the Football Hall of Fame. And these guys, they all know that a knock is either coming or not coming.
Yeah.
And then when they come, they don't give them the jacket then. But like it's like a big deal of like the knock on the door. I want to see like 3 families that all are hoping that their tree is the Rockefeller tree that year, and then like one of them, there's like a crew and somebody, you know, it's Santa J. Claus or somebody like knocks on the door, is like, your tree has been selected to be the Rockefeller tree of the year, you know.
And do they apply? Like, is it like
That's what
applying
I
for a
need more
club, or is it
information
like,
about
do they have like these special botanists that are like driving around like
This is
the
what I'm saying.
Northeast and they like start identifying the trees?
Now here's what's really funny is there's probably somebody listening going, yeah, I'm listening to this Christmas podcast so you can tell me this information. You're not supposed to ask the question.
Or the person who is a part of the selection committee from Rockefeller.
We will interview.
I will reach out to them, you know, because we do the Broadway cast at Rockefeller.
This is
And I literally talked to the head marketing person for Rockefeller.
This is a good
Maybe we can get them on the show, or better yet, we go to New York and we record from Newsstand Studios at Rockefeller Center the night of the tree lighting. I'm going to manifest this all right now.
I love it.
But yeah, I'd love to know how it all goes down, because there's got to be it's got to be a pretty lengthy process. Like, it's not like, a month before.
Yeah.
It's probably
that
years
Al
in the making,
Roker's
right?
just driving through upstate New York and is like, hey, that tree looks good.
Wait a second. Pulls back,
reverse.
knocking on the door. Sort of
Can we use your tree?
Sure, why not? Let's find out, and we'll get back to you all on that information. But yeah, the tree is stunning. If you haven't seen it, just Google Rockefeller Christmas tree, and you will see it. It is real nice. All right, so we're going to do one more today. There's one I really want to talk about, but one that I brought a prop for.
Do the prop one.
Should I do the prop one?
Yeah, do the prop one.
Okay, it's going to have a great payoff, I have a feeling. So I meant to talk about this in our last episode, but I saw, you know, because I'm always like Googling Christmas news.
Sure.
That there was this viral Christmas tree that everyone was talking about on social media. specifically a tree from Dollar Tree, ironically enough. And I feel like the fact that there's not like dollars on here is sort of like a missed opportunity. But it's this ceramic LED lighted tree, and it looks so classic.
Yeah.
And so vintage, and it comes, I think, in 2 or 3 different colors. And I went before our last recording session, they were sold out. And they're like, come back, we've been getting them in, but they go like literally, they're gone within like minutes because people are buying them and then selling them on eBay or Amazon for like 10 times as much money. So I scored one the other day, and it's in rose gold, and it's
beautiful.
And it's only $5.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And it lights up. Kind of.
Look at that. It is very
There it
vintagey.
goes. Isn't that awesome?
It's lit up. Yeah.
Is it lit up?
Yeah.
I think it's stunning. They only had the rose gold one. Is that what are you laughing at me?
I'm laughing because you're like, you can buy them and sell them for, 5 times, 10 times as much. And then when we talked about this right before the show, I was like, oh yeah, I was at Rite Aid just yesterday, and there was like 10 of these things for like $3 a piece, and I didn't buy any of them. And now I'm just like,
You're like looking at your
I'm
watch.
like,
You're like, how much
oh
longer
my
are we gonna be?
gosh, I've got to go. I need to run to Rite Aid.
Danny, I'll be right back. I will say that
It's a great looking tree.
mine's already missing 3 bulbs, by the way. So I don't know if you
Did you
noticed,
buy
but
it like that?
2 of them were missing when I bought it. Sure. But I was like, I can't not. And the guy at the register was like, you can actually go online and buy replacement bulbs. They cost $50, but no, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. But it's pretty stunning. I think I'll leave it here on the set for the remainder of the season.
Are you going to leave the price tag on it?
No, I'm going to take that off for sure. And I'll just put it over here, much like your cow. It'll sort of live next to me.
It really is a great looking tree.
For $5? Yeah. I mean, what a deal. And they've got great stuff, actually. I'm going to post a video on our Instagram and TikTok here in the next few days of all the cool Christmas decor items that are at Dollar Tree. Because they have great, like, they had this really cool wooden sign that was like, have yourself a merry little Christmas, $3. There you go. It's great stuff. Check it out, Dollar Tree, hashtag not sponsored, not an ad. Yep. Anyway, that's our Christmas news.
I love it. We have so much more, so we'll get them in the next episode. But we do have a game before we get to the countdown, I believe. Chris, you have a game for us?
I do have a game. Let's play a game. So this game is a lot of fun. We've played it a couple times on Disney Countdown. And I figured, actually, the first time we played it on Disney Countdown, I knew exactly how I wanted to play it with you guys. And so if you listen to Disney Countdown, which why wouldn't you listen to Disney Countdown? You should listen to them. It's called the Almost Impossible Trivia Quiz. The way it works is I like to quiz the host on movies that they haven't seen. That being said, today's movie will be the 1988 classic Christmas film, Ernest Saves Christmas. So all the questions will be about Ernest Saves Christmas.
I don't know that I've ever seen any of the Ernest films.
The only thing I've seen of Ernest...
I remember him as a character, but...
The only thing I've seen of Ernest is when he was the first person to ride Splash Mountain at Disneyland. And it was like a live show they did on ABC. Maybe I saw a little bit of Ernest Goes to Camp. Maybe a little bit, but that's about it.
Ernest Goes to Camp is classic. So, well, this one is also classic, but I would say Ernest Goes to Camp is probably a better movie.
What does he say?
That
Come on,
being said...
Vern?
Before we get started, I need you to know that there will be some spoilers at some point, but this movie's been out for 36 years.
So not our fault.
So if you haven't seen it,
you got to just deal with it. And you can assume that's a happy ending when we get going. For those that aren't aware of the movie, Ernest Saves Christmas stars Jim Varney as the goofy and good-natured Ernest P. Worrell. The film chronicles Ernest's attempt to help find a replacement for an aging Santa Claus.
Ooh. Okay.
All right. More information.
That is all news to me.
That's all news to me.
But that might help us.
That's right.
As we try to figure out these trivia questions. Do you have to buzz in?
We'll go back and forth, so you don't have to buzz in.
Cool. Okay, cool.
So the way it works is I'll give you 2 questions that share the same answer. The first question will be all about Ernest Saves Christmas. But if you don't get that one and you're stumped, the second will be a general knowledge question.
Oh, okay.
And if you don't understand it, you'll get it, just like all the other games we play.
Okay. All right, great.
You want to go first?
So we'll go with Eric first.
All right.
This is the Ernest Saves Christmas question. What city does this movie predominantly take place?
Albuquerque.
So confident.
I'll start doing these noises.
That's right.
That's incorrect.
Incorrect. Okay, took a shot.
Here's the general knowledge question. What Central Florida city is known as the City Beautiful?
Ooh. Central Florida.
Orlando?
Orlando is correct.
Hey!
Took a shot.
City Beautiful? Is that what it's called?
That.
Yeah, the City Beautiful. I think it was like a sort of a marketing thing that they used in sort of like Detroit to try to revitalize it. And then
Okay.
when I used to live in Orlando, so I looked it up, and then they just basically like copy and pasted Detroit's City Beautiful and added it to
campaign.
Orlando
Yeah,
before
nice.
Orlando even existed. That was like when they first started.
Love it.
I love it. Then they started calling
they were
themselves
being very
Motown,
optimistic when they
but they
named
did
the
call themselves O-Town.
O-Town.
They are stealing. We are unearthing information about Detroit here
The
today.
new Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit of the South.
So here's the
Detroit?
next question. This one's for
Detroit.
Danny.
Detroit.
What does Ernest do for a living?
Tow truck driver.
That's incorrect.
Oh, I thought
close.
He
I thought
paused
he was
almost like it was
considering-
maybe right.
Yeah,
I can see a world where he would
I
be,
mean, the
but
way he
not
dresses, he
unfortunately
kinda
not in
looks
this
like
movie.
like Mater sort of vibe.
And here's the general knowledge question. What 1976 American film starred Robert De Niro and was directed by Martin Scorsese?
Taxi driver.
Taxi Driver is correct.
Yes,
So he was a driver.
he's a driver, just a different vehicle.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
A driver's a
Instead,
driver.
he doesn't transport
Right.
garbage. He transports Santa in this
Golf
movie.
driver.
That's right.
Watch the movie and you'll check it out.
Okay.
Here's the next one. This one's for Eric. Santa travels from the North Pole to Orlando to talk to a potential replacement by the name of Joseph Carruthers.
Hmm.
What job was Joe recently fired from?
Ooh.
Taxi driving.
That's a good guess.
That would be incorrect.
I thought you were going to say tow truck driver.
Tow truck driver's the answer till the end.
Here's the general knowledge question. From 1968 to 2001, what occupation did Fred Rogers have?
Oh,
TV show host.
He was a children's TV show host. That's correct.
there you go. So Mr.
Okay.
Carruthers was it? I mean, that would make
Was it?
sense
Yeah,
to
yeah.
become Santa,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
I like this game. This
Moving
is fun.
on.
this is fun.
This one's for you, Danny.
Okay.
After trying to convince Joe to take over his job, Joe's manager has Santa arrested. During booking, it's discovered that Santa's fingerprints look like what?
Snowflakes.
Snowflakes is correct.
Nice. That's good.
The general knowledge question was, what form of frozen precipitation is known for having completely unique patterns?
Ooh,
Very cool.
there we go.
That was good.
Rain.
Moving on to Eric. While checking in a group of large crates, two bumbling airport cargo handlers discover the crates contain Santa's reindeer. Where do the reindeer hide until they are picked up?
They work at the check-in counter. They put on little vests and they say, "Where are you going today?"
Please tell me
Let me
that's
just
right.
get you one little ticket to Cancun, Mexico. That's my guess.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that's incorrect.
It was Mazatlan. Mazatlan, Mexico.
Here's the general knowledge. In his smash hit 1986 song, where does Lionel Richie sing about dancing?
On the ceiling,
That is correct.
Oh, nice.
the reindeers fly and they go on the ceiling. That makes
That's
sense.
brilliant.
That makes more sense than that.
And no one ever thinks to look up.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a pretty funny side story with the baggage handlers and that whole situation.
I love it.
We're gonna have to watch this.
Yeah, I
movie.
got to see this movie.
Yeah.
Moving on, this one's for you, Danny. After Joe decides he's going to take the job, so spoiler, he will become the new Santa. How does the previous Santa transfer his powers to Joe?
Oh, jeez. Through a candy cane.
That would be incorrect.
Headbutt.
Here's the general knowledge. What act is thought to have originated as a way to show that two people were not holding weapons and bore no ill will towards one another?
We're not holding weapons. Wait, can you say that again? What?
I sure can. What act is thought to have originated as a way to show that two people were not holding weapons and bore no ill will towards each other?
Why you're looking at me like I should know this?
Yeah.
They weren't holding weapons. I mean, is it shaking hands?
Shaking hands is correct.
I was gonna say waving a white flag.
No, that's right. What
I
Chris is
didn't
saying
know that.
that's where it comes from. Is like saying, "We're good, and I have no weapon in my hand."
But what's in your other hand?
A weapon.
That's why we shake hands
Grab
like
and
this.
then I wouldn't have known that. I won't take the point for that one. I got to give that one to Eric because I would not have known that.
I helped.
This
a
is
buddy
the
out.
last one.
That's what friends are.
Here it goes. This one's for you, Eric. In the final scene, we revisit the cargo handlers as they discover another odd crate. Who's in the crate?
Mrs. Claus.
That's what I thought too.
She's getting sent right over to Joe Carruthers. Unfortunately, that's incorrect.
You could take her. That's horrible.
And Rodney Dangerfield
She's
has
part of the
played-
deal.
Take my wife, please.
And here's the general knowledge question. What folklore character is known for hiding painted eggs?
The Easter Bunny.
The Easter Bunny is
Wait,
correct.
So the Easter Bunny and Santa are friends, and he's sending.
Package deal.
Wow.
You get
So wait,
you get one magic,
Does this
you
mean
get all
Santa
magic.
owns the Easter Bunny? Is that what they're suggesting?
I don't know, because Santa flew on the plane to find Joe, and the Easter Bunny was packed in cargo. So I'm not
But
sure.
is it like his emotional support bunny?
I don't know. Maybe the Easter Bunny was looking for a replacement as well.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. They kind of like addressed that a little bit in the Santa Claus, right? They all hang out together. Yeah.
I like it.
Now
that
we gotta
was
go
great.
watch the movie.
Very good game.
Wait.
Very good game, Chris. I like that.
Yay!
That was good.
Nicely
and
done.
it makes me want to see Ernest Saves Christmas.
I will watch it.
Legitimately.
Where can we watch it? Is it available like on all streaming platforms?
It is available on Disney Plus.
Oh, I have that.
On no streaming platform.
It's available on the on Napster.
I
Yeah.
love Napster.
Oh, that was great. Thank you,
all
Chris.
right.
Great game.
Yeah, good game. Let's get to the countdown, yeah?
Let's.
We're only an hour in.
Are we really?
All righty, folks. So today we have our top 10 holiday season feelings. We're going to do 10 through 6 today, and we'll do 5 through 1 on the next episode.
How'd you feel putting this? Speaking of feelings, how'd you
Loved
feel?
it.
Did you?
Loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't even use any, like, hey, I need to think about, like, I was just like 10 feelings. Boom. I knew them. I was ready.
I had like I sat down in front of my computer and I had like 18 like
Yeah.
flowed out of me, and I was like I got to stop myself
Yeah.
because I'm just gonna keep going.
This was a good list. I like this
know.
one.
I feel like it was like feelings in me that I needed to get out. I'll chat about it.
Okay, here we go. So these, again, top 10 Christmas feelings, or as we have talked about privately, I like to call these almost like micro moments.
Yeah, massively merry micro moments. is what
Yeah,
we were-
massively merry micro moments. Those little, it's like a hyper specific like moment that you're like, that feeling when I had that thing or place, and you'll find out as we go. Okay, so my number 10 is going to be enjoying Christmas music and slow dancing with my wife and my kids by the tree as the presents are kind of starting to fill the tree area. It's probably about like December 20th. We got a record playing. It's kind of a scratchy old Sinatra record or something like that. I'm wearing my classic dad robe that I only ever wear for like 2 weeks during Christmas. I have this robe and it just takes up space in my closet, and then I only wear it during Christmas time. Sophie, there's a great picture. I'm specifically thinking of a moment when we lived in New York. Sophie was like literally standing on my feet, and she was wearing her little Christmas robe, and Lisa and Miles were sitting on the couch kind of snuggling together, and we were like dancing, and my wife took this amazing picture of me and Sophie, and like there was a lot of glare from the Christmas lights, like not glare, what do they call that when the light like
like a lens flare?
lens flare, yeah. Like the lens flare of the Christmas lights really kind of obscured, so it's kind of hazy a little bit. So great. The kids are just like looking at me and Lisa with such joy and love and a sense of being like safe and feeling cared for. So the feeling is family. So my number 10 feeling is family.
Well, it's been a great episode, folks. Thanks so much for joining. That was beautiful, man.
That's
that
my
was
number
so
10.
Beautiful.
It only gets better from there.
I can only imagine. I just want to say, like, I just had this moment, like, sitting here listening to you talk. You so perfectly, like, described a very vivid moment in your life. And I just got this sense of, like, gratitude for being here, and to get to do this show with you and with Chris and Emilio, and that we have this thing where we can come here and be silly and be goofy, but that we can, just like as we referenced earlier, that we can just say exactly what we're feeling. And I think we all live in conflict a lot of times these days, especially, I don't know if it exists so much in other parts of the world, but definitely for us here in the U.S., there's this conflict of like, oh, should I say that? I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to insult anyone. And I think it's impacted our ability to be human and to be real and to say what we're feeling, And obviously we need to be aware of the things we're saying and how they impact others, but like, you also should be open about your feelings. I think it's so important. And I think this fear of like upsetting someone has seeped into us expressing ourselves in all aspects. And you just opening with that, I was like, this is what this show is. Yeah. And can I dovetail off that by saying, I was walking around the mall here, which is right outside the doors, here at the Simi Valley Town Center. I was walking the other day and I just needed to like clear my head and not sit in front of a computer and try to type things out. And I was like, why is this theme so important? I literally asked myself that question and I said, why is it so important right now? And I wrote a little something in my phone and I said, so much in our lives is artificial. Think of artificial intelligence, artificial trees, whatever it might be, or virtual. But the feelings of the holiday season, both past and present, are tangible and real and hopefully not contrived. Personally, I feel like we are at a vital place as humans to draw a line in the sand and not let the digital world totally take over. Obviously, I think utilizing technology is important if you don't want to become a dinosaur, right? But business and personal life and what makes us human are very different. I think we need to do everything we can to lean into tactile, real things in our personal life. And for me, that's what this countdown is all about.
Totally.
How we chatted about this, I think in season 3 or 2 is like, how can you be nostalgic for something if you weren't there and you weren't present and you weren't feeling it? And so hopefully this countdown inspires you all to think back upon what those moments were. I guarantee it. Hopefully it's not going to be like, oh, it was that picture I put up of my kids that got 150 likes.
Right.
No, it's going to be being with your kid in that moment and that memory and that feeling you have. So I challenge you guys to, as you're navigating this week in the season, to think about those feelings and send those lists to us or post them in the comments. We'd love to see them. Anyway, my number 10 is going to be, and this is very specific. If you've been to the Disney parks at the holiday season, you know that on Main Street, after the fireworks show or light show, if there's too much wind, it snows.
Yeah, very cool.
The oohs and ahs of the people on Main Street as you hear the fans start blowing and the snow starts coming. And it could be people who have experienced it 15 times.
Blowing. The
snow is
starts snowing.
Snowing, yeah. And the music starts playing and the snow starts falling around all these people. Everyone immediately becomes a child.
Yeah.
Again, you see young couples embracing each other. I remember being there once with my mom, just the two of us. This was when I was living in New York and I came back for the holidays and I took my mom to Disneyland. And we stayed all the way to the end. And I just remember standing on Main Street with my mom with this beautiful song playing in the background and the snow falling all around and seeing the biggest smile on my mom's face standing there on Main Street. And it just, the energy of the people in the space, it is magic. And that's what the Christmas season is all about. It's like, it makes you believe in magic. And being there on Main Street and to feel that collective energy of all the people going there in that moment and opening up their hearts and their spirit to feel, it's one of the most beautiful things. And for me, I love seeing other people happy. And I I can feel the happiness in that space, in that moment. And what a beautiful thing and what a beautiful representation of humanity to think that like however many thousands of people are standing there on that street in that moment, all going there together. Yeah. It's so beautiful. So for number 10 for me is going to be the oohs and ahs from people when the snow starts falling on Main Street at Disneyland.
Love it. Love it. Okay. My number 9 is going to be the first Christmas lights in the neighborhood. The first Christmas music on the radio. When Coast 103.5, not an ad, but we love you, switches over and people start putting lights up on their houses, right? You feel the sense of community as we start to all embrace the holiday spirit, because, as we've talked about on this show, a lot of you that are listening, especially right now, if you're listening, as the episodes drop, we're the early Christmas adopters, right? And we love this time when it's sort of just us.
Yeah.
But it is a really great feeling when the rest of the world is like, now it's time for Christmas, and we get it. We get why people have to wait. But when we get to that point and everybody becomes all in, it's so awesome. It's also the first time that you hear All I Want for Christmas Is You and Last Christmas. And it's the first time that you've heard it before you've heard it 17,000 times, right? Which we love those songs, but we can all admit, sometimes by the end of the season, you're like, I can't hear that one anymore, right? But when you hear it for that first time of the season, when people start posting the memes of, Mariah like breaking out of the ice and being like, it's time, like that first time of hearing it is so great. And it really is. You're like, yeah, it's here. It's finally Christmas time. And we become kids again. We get that sense of what I'm using as my number 9 feeling is community. That sense of community that we all are in the season together. So that's my number 9 is community.
So true. I love that one so much. And it's apropos considering the fact that this episode will be our first episode of November. So we will be officially past.
We'll be in it.
We are in it now. And there'll be
Mariah
people who will
has been
join
released.
us. One thing I've realized is that there's a lot of people who listen to our show and follow us on social media in Canada. Yeah. And a lot of them like to wait until after Remembrance Day, which I think is November 12th for them. So, I think it's this staggered thing, right? Yeah. But, once we get, I feel like, after Thanksgiving, everyone's on the train, and it's a beautiful thing. It's that community. I love that. Number 9 for me is going to be one that has become a reality for me over the last couple of years. But it's also reminded me of my reality from when I was a kid, and I'm sure it's how my parents felt watching me as a child. And that's going to be the sound of laughter when your kids are playing with each other or with their cousins on Christmas Day.
That is a good one.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And it's something...
Especially the cousins bit.
Yeah.
Because siblings, yes, sibling love is so beautiful and magical.
So special,
But there's something special about cousins when, it's your spot.
You know why I think cousins is so powerful?
We're only on number 9, Danny.
I know. Well, I'm just thinking about it, I wrote it, but now I'm thinking about it, is that life is beautiful because it's cyclical, it's just it comes back around. And watching my kids play with their cousins, specifically my nephew Wesley, who's my brother's son, and because he looks like my brother, it's like watching myself play with my brother when we were kids, and it brings back such beautiful moments, and it makes me so appreciative for all the time that we shared together as kids, that we were so fortunate to be in a safe and stable home, that we were so fortunate to receive the toys that we wanted on Christmas, that we got along. We fought as brothers did, but at the end of the day, we love each other. We loved each other then, and we love each other now. Gosh dang it. Emerson looks like me. And when I see her and Wesley smiling at each other, it's like I'm looking in the rear view of my life. Yeah. And it's so beautiful to watch them forming this bond, and then I think gosh, that's what my mom probably saw when I was playing with my, cousins, John and Ryan and Steven, we were all 1 year apart. So when Jonathan, Ryan, me, Steven, we were born in years in succession, and we all loved baseball. And every time there was a Thanksgiving or Christmas, we'd always get together and play baseball in the yard. It was just a thing. And I'm sure this is what my parents thought and their parents thought watching us together, and probably were looking in the rear view of their life. And it's just knowing that, God willing, they're going to be the closest of friends. And just I still talk to my cousins to this day and reach out to them and say, I love you, I miss you. That no matter where life takes them, that they'll have that person that they'll always have that bond with is super special. And so seeing them creating those core memories on, Christmas Day and just around the holiday season is special.
I love that. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids with their cousins, we have Wavy, who's my brother's daughter, who's 2. She'll be 3 very soon. It'll actually be right around her birthday when this airs.
That's right.
So happy birthday, Wavy. They're here in Southern California, so we get to see her a lot. But then we also have Lisa's brother's daughter, Serafina, who's in Orlando, and they are big listeners. So what's up, Ariana, Trey,
Yes.
Serafina? Hi, Serafina. Serafina and Miles are like 2 years apart, but they're like the same height, and they look exactly the same. Like they're a boy and girl version of like the same person.
Yeah.
And they are so funny when, I mean, obviously we talk to them on FaceTime all the time, but when we go down to Orlando to visit Lisa's family, the way that Miles and Serafina, like instantly, there is not even a second of like, hi, like I haven't seen you in person in 6 months. They instantly run into a room and they are like two peas in a pod. We call them the twins, even though they're 2 years apart. Like they just are, they have this connection between their brains that's so cool. And it is, you're totally right that like that cousin connection is just something really special. Really, really special.
It really, really is.
Okay, so I'm on my number
8.
Yep. Okay, my number 8 here. This is a good one. I'm a little amazed that I put it at number 8, but they're all so good.
I know. I feel like they could all be.
They all could be number 1.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, my number 8 is the Santa gift kids' faces.
Oh.
So it's the face. I'm going to describe it a little bit more, but like most specifically, it's the look on your kid's face when they see what Santa left for them, right? And it's also sort of including in the waiting to come in.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the whole moment. It's the waking us up. It's, you know, the fact that we pretend like, oh, it's so early, I can't. When I'm just as excited to jump out of bed and go and see what's down there or wherever in the living room. Like, I'm just as excited, but I always pretend. Me and Lisa always go, oh, it's so early. No, let us sleep longer. We don't really want to, but we pretend every year.
Yep.
It's also, you know, the fact that we always say, I don't drink coffee, but Lisa's like, we have to have coffee. I have to have coffee before we go in.
Yep.
And the kids are like, no, we got to go. You know, it's the kids begging us to go and look at what Santa brought. For me, and, you know, because I was trying to remember not just feelings that I have now as a parent myself, but also like, what did I feel like when I was a kid? It was that feeling of sitting on the stairs when you're waiting to go down the stairs. And like, we live in a single story home now, but I grew up in a 2-story house. Yeah. And that feeling of sitting on the stairs, we had carpeted stairs, and like my mom being like, okay, hang on. And my dad would go and get his big camcorder, you know, he'd set it all up, and it was like massive on the side of his head, you know, and he'd be looking around. And then my dad would do this, and then I do it, and hopefully Miles will do it like his father before him. Yeah. Always I go in with the camcorder and I go, oh boy, I don't know if you guys want to come in here. I don't know. There's not really much here. And I do it every year, and my dad did it every year. Yes. And the kids are like, no, we know there's something there. And just that sort of like playful banter between, you know, parents and their kids when everybody's super excited. There's no sense. It's so hard in today's world to truly be present in every moment, you know, especially for parents and kids. Like, there's so many things pulling at our attention, whether it be phones, news, jobs, relationships, all the things. I always feel like this is a moment where nobody is trying to be anywhere else when this moment is happening. It's special for everybody. It's special for the kids. It's special for the parents. Everybody's just really present and in the moment. I always love, like I said, to go in and survey the situation first. And then the moment is when they come around the corner and they see what gift they got from the big man. Yeah. You know, it's just such a sense of wonder and joy. And really, the feeling is magic, right? And I just think that feeling for everybody involved is so magical because it just, you know, as parents, if you're a parent listening to this, you know that sense of like, all we want for our kids is for them to be happy, right? And this is usually, hopefully, a true moment of happiness. And for kids, all we want to do is believe and have things go well for us and get the thing that we wanted and that we asked Santa for. And so it's just such a moment of magic and connection. So that's going to be my number 8, is the feeling is magic.
And I think you touch on something really amazing there, is that it's not the thing.
No.
It's the belief that anything is possible.
Totally.
That's what that moment represents, I think, to children. And then we carry that magic with us into adulthood, hopefully. And then we get to be a part of the magic with the kids, which is amazing. Oh, that was so good. All right, my number 8 is going to be, and this is for all the people who are a part of this show, from Emilio to Chris to Eric, to me, I guess, to a certain extent, but more so the community, the Christmas Countdown crew. It's going to be the feeling of gratitude and sense of purpose fulfilled I get when people share with us what this show means to them.
That's a good one.
You know, I've said it ad nauseum at this point in time, but you don't know when you have an idea. You know, it's part of being a creative individual. You know, oftentimes all we see when it comes to creative individuals, be they, you know, actors or writers or painters or whatever it is, we see the finished product, right? And we just think like, wow, you did that thing. You know, that, yeah, I bet that was really easy. I bet you never like doubted yourself for one moment along the journey. And also the journey, you know, of like how much time and energy and effort goes into something. And so to feel this thing upon our hearts, you know, 4 Christmases ago, to make something and then to make it again and to make it again, and to feel like we're doing this for more than just our own giggles of sitting here chatting about like our history, but like to feel called to share every part of who we are, to hopefully connect with people around the world and maybe encourage them to think back upon their lives and or where they're at right now, or help them navigate challenging situations. And then to have people reach out to us with very powerful words, affirming that like this tug we felt on our hearts to do this thing, that was something bigger than us. Mm-hmm. And we answered the call and we showed up, and that we were meant to be here. Yeah. We were meant to be in this space, and we've been so malleable over the last few years as to how we do it, to go from being in a garage to then being in an office and then a different office, and having big sponsors and then not having big sponsors this year, being like, we still got to do this thing. And then finding this space as I was walking around trying to get some sun on my face after working at Starbucks, being like, no, there's a spot for us. And there was. Yeah. And so when you all reach out to us and you share what you're going through in your life and how we've been a part of that journey with you, it makes my heart feel so much gratitude. And I wanted to share one of the messages that we received recently, as a sort of underline of what this means to me and to us, really. If you'll indulge me, it's kind of a long message. It starts out by saying, "Hi there. It would be amazing if you felt called to share my message on the show, but because of the nature of the message, I would need to remain anonymous. Essentially, like most listeners who write in, I've been dealt a difficult hand in this life. I recently had to leave an unsafe living environment, and during that time, I was an anxious wreck. I believe anyone in my situation would be. Throughout this time of finding a couch to crash on and a place to lay my head day to day, I had to find a way to distract myself and occupy any free time I had so that as to not get stuck in my head. I needed to, as a mental health professional has told me, distract yourself. Watch a movie or listen to a podcast or read a book, but avoid sad things. I turned to your podcast to not only distract myself, but to remind me of the light, happy, and joyful parts of this life. Because I shared this, I will also share that I am stable, safe, and have found housing for the time being. I share what I just shared to hopefully communicate that your show has been a comfort and a sense of solace when I was in a difficult situation. Even before I had to flee the aforementioned living environment, I would have hard days, as we all do by nature of being human and living in this weird and wonderful world. I am a CNA in geriatrics, possibly one of the most beautiful, life-affirming, and simultaneously heartbreaking professions. I work with folks on a daily basis that are about to find their way home. Capital H, home. They are in their 80s, 90s, and early 100s. Death is a part of life. It is an honor to walk alongside them through their transition to the next life. And at the same time, sometimes my coworkers and I need a break to think of light and happy things and to numb out our brains. People look to all sorts of things to do this, but I try to always look to healthy coping strategies. Instead of turning to a drink, for instance, I will pop on your podcast and go for a drive or color or knit. Through your show, I am reminded of the fact that better days are ahead. We can spend some time counting down top 10 Christmas somethings. Life doesn't always have to be so serious. We were not built to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We all need a break from the heaviness of this life sometimes. Essentially, what I'm attempting to communicate through sharing these sob stories from my life, sorry for that, is this. Life is hard, but there is still beauty. Your show, optimism, and overall message reminds me of that. I don't mean to be dramatic. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. To quote Kate McAllister in Home Alone, "This is Christmas, the season of perpetual hope." I truly believe that Christmas is about hope, healing, and if you come from the Christian faith, tradition that Christmas was originally founded on, rebirth. Right now, I'm listening to your free episodes on Spotify, but the second I become financially stable, I plan to subscribe to the paid plan. Thank you all for sharing your message of perpetual hope. Merry Christmas.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you to you that wrote in.
Yeah.
And we're glad that you're safe, and we're happy that you have found us and that we have been able to bring some light to your life and your situation, and anybody that speaks to, because I'm sure there's a lot of people listening right now who are feeling very emotional and feeling very connected to that. I think, when we had done that first season, we had a great time. If we had gotten some listens and nobody had written us any notes, we probably would have felt, and not in any kind of negative way, we probably would have felt like, all right, well, we counted down some Christmas stuff. That was a fun thing to do during the pandemic.
Let's go play some golf.
Right. But once it was really those messages that we got from you all, our listeners, and saying how it meant so much to you, and that not only did you enjoy the silly parts that we do, but that, like, we, as Danny was just saying, and that listener just wrote in, that this life is hard and there is a lot of negativity in the world. And I think we're all sort of searching for any positive handhold we can find as we climb the mountain of life, and so that is really why we do it. And we're happy to do it. We do feel, not to make it too grandiose, but it's a little bit of a calling, that it's, I think we are connecting to those of you who are looking for the good stuff, looking for the bright spots. So we will continue to bring that.
It's an honor.
That was awesome.
It's an honor. Yeah.
Thank you, Danny. Yeah. Very cool. I'm going to lighten it up a little bit here. This is a good one.
Is it going to be Cow Christmas?
No, I should have put. I mean, that should be number one. Frankly, I'm saving Cow Christmas for later in the season. Okay. But okay, so this is my number 7.
Correct.
Yeah. My number 7 is going to be, because I didn't even number these, because they all really, honestly, like I said, could be number 1.
Yep.
It's going to be sledding / first snow, which I know living here in California is not necessarily a thing, but I'm a good Midwest boy, right? And I miss the Midwest all the time, and I miss snow all the time, and I really miss the cold, especially in this season. Like it really is. I'd say if there's any bad part about living in California, especially at Christmas, is I miss snow and cold. I love the cold. I love the snow. So the moment that I'm talking about is, it's sort of two things. You have the first snow, which a lot of times the first snow is just a dusting. Okay. Right? It's just like, I see some snowflakes. Yeah. And like when you first have that moment, and it's usually maybe not, especially because the first one is usually kind of a light dusting. It might not be on the weather report like, hey, we're getting a blizzard. But you're like out at a mall or something, and you're walking out to your car, and you're like, that's a snowflake. And it's that feeling of like, the season is here. Yeah. That chill is in the air. It's that first seeing of a snowflake. And then the second part of this feeling is that first big good snow. Oh, yeah. The first time, especially as a kid, but even now as a parent, when you're like, okay, we're getting 6 inches of snow. It's like it's coming down.
Yeah.
There is going to be some sledding. And it's the whole feeling of not only knowing that it's coming, a lot of times it happens in the night. So you sort of wake up. And I remember when we were living in New York, my kids would run upstairs and there'd be, that like 1.5 feet of snow and that would be against our back. We had a sliding door into the back patio. And so it would be filled with snow and you could see it like up against the door and that feeling of like, we're going sledding. We're going to play in the snow. And then it's the whole thing of like, putting on the snow boots and putting on the snow suit and the hats and the gloves and the scarf, and you're so hot in the house. You're like, oh, I'm going to die. I'm so hot. But you know that you need it for when you go out to the snow. And then it's that feeling of like opening the door, stepping into the snow, the crunch of that sound of snow compacting under a boot. You got your sled. It's usually like we never had a sled for more than a season. We always would buy a new sled every year, which I never understood.
Did you guys go sledding in New York?
Oh, yeah.
In Central Park?
In Central Park.
Oh, really?
It was the greatest.
Oh,
it was
that sounds awesome.
the best. Because also where we lived in Central Park was, or in New York was, I mean, we were a 40-step walk to Central Park. I mean, we were so close. And so there was one hill that we would go right on 85th Street that would like kind of was a smaller hill. And then there was another hill that was sort of like in the fenced area that you weren't supposed to go into, but when it was a good snow, the Central Park would be like, it's cool, we get it.
That's awesome.
And then people would crawl over the fence and then we'd go. So it's that feeling really hot, going outside, getting that first like feeling of snow in your hands and under your boots, finding that great spot that you're going to go sledding.
Yeah.
That first going down and seeing like, whoa, this is faster than I remembered. It kind of hurts a little bit when you crash into the snow, but it's also kind of awesome. You're laughing. There's like snowball fights is so fun. Snowball fights are fun as a kid against kid is fun. It's fun as an adult against kid. I love throwing snowballs at my kids and, hitting them like in the back. And they're like, oh, it's so epic, But also when you're a kid and you like get your parent, and I love when my kids will get a big snowball and they'll be like, hey, daddy, turn around. And I know it's coming, but they just throw it right in my face. It's so great.
That's awesome.
Building a snowman. It's just, I love the snow so much. So much. Did I ever show you the video of when I hit Miles in the face with a snowball?
No.
We'll post it on
Should
social.
we do it on the Patreon?
Yeah. I have a slow motion video. It's when we were living in Boston.
Okay.
And I made a snowball. And he's like very far away from me. He's on the other side. We were in the house we were staying at had a huge lawn. He is he's easily 30, 40 yards away from me. He's very far. And I throw this snowball, and it was just supposed to hit him like in the back, but he turned at the last second and just right in the cheek. And I have it in slow motion. It's great. I'll show it to you later, but we'll post it. But that was not a proud moment as a dad. But it was such a great video, and he laughed about it. Lisa was like, you hit him in the face. And I was like, I didn't mean to hit him in the face. But even all of that, like the joy and the laughter of those like epic moments of growing up and playing in the snow as kids, as parents with kids, as kids with parents, the whole thing is so amazing. So my number, what was this? My number 7?
Yeah.
My number 7, the feeling is excitement and adventure. It's like just that epic sense of like play.
Yeah. See, I didn't know that growing up because I grew up here in Southern California. And so like this idea of like the first snow, it's like, for me, it's like the first wind, that's really what it is. Did I ever tell you, speaking of nailing people in the face with a snowball, did I tell you the story of when my best buddy, Jason, and I, we were asked to go up to church camp as like chaperones.
Okay.
And there were 2 kids, but they needed to have 2 adults go because you couldn't have one adult staying alone in like a cabin with 2 kids. So we were involved, like we taught Sunday school and all this sort of stuff. So we went up, and one of our kids got into a snowball fight with kids from another church, but it was 1 versus like 11.
Yeah.
And they were just pummeling him. Yeah. But they were doing it running around. So like they had cabins on site, but then they had like 2 stories or like dorms. And so the kids are all running around the dorms. And my best buddy, Jason, comes around the corner of a building to try to like break up the fight. And as he comes, a snowball nails him in the bridge of the nose, but it had like a rock or like a piece of ice in the middle of it. Yeah. And he shouts out, he goes, "Son of a," in the middle of church camp.
Son of a nutcracker.
Yeah, exactly. And I started rolling on the ground. He felt so bad. We ended up going down to like the room they were all staying in. He was like, "I would like to apologize to all of you for the language I used. That was very inappropriate."
But which one of you threw a rock at my face?
But that was brutal. But like he had like a full on like cut across the
Broken
bridge of
nose,
his
yeah.
nose. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. But that's so cool. Hopefully we get to maybe experience that when we go to Big Bear.
Yeah.
Coming up, I'm like crossing my fingers that there's going to be snow. Great choice. All right, my number 7 is going to be. This is sort of tapping into what you talked about earlier. Is the feeling of hope and community that you feel when you are out in public, and really leaning into the community aspect of that. I think about, again, it's no secret at this point on the show that, gift giving is my love language. I love being out at the stores and watching other people sort of like picking out their things, or like watching like them with their kids, like navigating the aisles, kids be like, "I want that, I want them," like, them taking note. But like, I love the way that we at Christmas time acknowledge each other. The way, like, I think of like what really pops to mind for me and as an example of community is like when you're in line to check out, and usually like other times of the year, you're like, "Get my stuff, I get out of here." But like you start having conversations with people in line, you start cracking jokes with the person behind the register. It's like, "How you doing?" "I'm doing great." "Oh, well, you getting out of here in about 15 minutes? You start like making those sort of jokes and you become human.
Even just saying Merry Christmas
Yeah.
or Happy Holidays to somebody, like to the cashier. I love doing that. And I love when a cashier is like, "Merry Christmas." Like, people don't talk to us anymore. They just take their stuff and leave. Yeah.
I love the sense of like, we are all here.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what I was sharing at the beginning of like tactile experiences. Like, to me, talking to a human face to face, reading their body language, getting a sense as to where they're at, them saying something funny, you laughing, or you connecting over something, or being in the aisle and, your kids are down the aisle playing with a toy and you're talking to another parent about like just what it's like to be a parent and picking out the perfect gift. It's just like we start talking to each other. We start engaging with one another. And I think hopefully it's not just a reminder, but hopefully it's a sense of motivation to do that, not just in November and December, but to realize that like, if we can do that at the time of year where we really have the most going on, because we're trying to juggle all these things while working and all the things and travel, there's no excuse for us to not do that
In April.
January, through October. Like, we can be here together. We can exist together. We can navigate and commune together. So that's what I love about Christmas, is that we do it. And it's always my hope every year that for myself and for all of you listening is that we take that sense of community into the rest of the year.
I love that. It's sort of like in the Honeymooners monologue that I did on season 1 or 2,
Dude,
where he says like, he says it's that time of year where everybody's just a little bit nicer, and you bump into somebody and you say, "Hey, sorry," whatever.
Yes.
I can't remember what the words are exactly, but it sort of is talking exactly about that feeling.
Dude, that's one of my favorite moments from our show.
That was fun.
Ever. And the edit of it, because I cut it into like black and white with like the line sort of coming across the
film
screen.
look, yeah.
It was such a beautiful moment.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, my number 6. This will be my last one of this episode, and this moment and feeling is actually what I didn't come up with the phrase micro moments. I'm sure somebody else did.
Right.
But I noticed this while I was in Scotland, and I'll explain what it is in a second. And I was like, I love this feeling of this exact moment, very hyper-specific moment. And I started writing a little file in my notes app on my phone of micro moments that I love, right? Like, another one that I have is when you're in the shower and you like turn up the heat just a little extra. And so you're already warm from the shower, but just when it's like, it almost feels like a blanket of like, it's a little hotter.
Yes.
And like that, it's like a micro moment. And that's what sort of like spawned this idea of
that's
why I wanted
brilliant.
to do this list of like appreciating those little tiny moments in your life that are like, I'm happy. They just make you go,
It's life.
Yeah, it's life.
Yeah.
And so this is the moment that was the first thing that I noticed that I was like, I love this very weirdly specific moment. And then I started writing these micro moments, and now we made this list, which is very exciting.
The warmth of the shower was the thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's this one that I'm about to describe.
Okay.
And it's the time when you've had a great meal out at a restaurant, and you've paid the bill, and everybody in your family has put their coats on. Everybody gets a toothpick or a little after dinner mint.
Yeah.
And you're all feeling kind of warm, and you're standing in the lobby of the restaurant, wherever it is, right? And it's usually very warm in there, especially in the Midwest. And it's that feeling when somebody opens the heavy door and that rush of cool, cold winter air kind of hits you. And it's the feeling of being full and being stuffed and being blessed. And it's that feeling of like, I'm good. I got a full belly. I'm so blessed to be with my family. The cold air of life is kind of coming at you, not in a like super negative way of, that like, I can't handle it, but it's just, you feel ready to go and feeling blessed and full and prepared. And that's my number 6 feeling.
Would you believe?
Same thing?
After dinner, belly's full.
Yes.
Mine was thinking of like being at home. I wrote candles flickering, smiles on people's faces.
Yeah.
And I think about whether I know some people have a tradition of getting together on Christmas Eve, for dinner, or like some, family member hosts like my Uncle Mark, who's he's my godfather, but he's really like an uncle, he's family. He would host like this spaghetti, dinner on Christmas Eve every single year, now every year with our family, Lynn makes her lasagna. And I just think of that feeling of sitting in our dining room, just looking around at everybody. A lot of times it's me washing the dishes, because I'm a neat freak. But I love standing there and listening to the and like looking over, and everyone's smiling. The kids are playing over in the corner. Maybe they're playing with some of their new toys if it's on Christmas Day. But it goes back to that sense of calm and that sense of togetherness, and you are full. It's fullness. Yeah. And yes, like you are full with food, but it's a bigger thing than that. You are just full. You're grateful. You are thankful. And you are literally full. And that's what the holiday season brings. And I think it is happening around us. It is beautiful. It is hopeful. Yeah. It is like, I could keep going.
Sure.
I'm full of these things, but there is just this sense of fulfillment that happens at that time of year.
Fulfillment.
I know. Not to be mistaken with fulfillment. That needs to be merch.
There you go.
Fulfillment.
Yeah.
That I'm grateful. Yeah. Oh, come on. Anyway, no, I'm derailing. Bring me back in. But don't forget that, Emilio. Write that down. Hopeful, grateful, thankful. Anyway. But it is just, it's the best.
Yeah.
And I love it so much, and I can see it. And more importantly, I can feel it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Get full.
Get full.
Get full, people.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like that. Should be our moniker.
Yeah.
Everyone was getting on that Ripple after episode 1. We had a lot of people reaching out, be like, oh, Ripple's like a great word.
Yeah.
We should have like a...
Get full.
Did he say darker in here?
I did.
Yeah, that was interesting. Maybe the clouds.
Yeah.
Anyway. But that'd be fun if we had like a word for every episode.
Yeah.
Like the word for today's episode is...
Get full.
Full. That'd be 2 words. But.
Yeah, I like it. Well, Danny, that wraps up this episode here.
It does.
This was a good one. Make sure that you like and follow us on all of the socials. Rate and review. We got to do a huge thank you to In the Light Productions and the Holiday Experience, which you can find here in Simi Valley. And if you want to check out their Instagram, it's at holiday_experience24. They open on November 1st.
Yes.
They have a million lights.
1 million lights. Yep.
It's 50,000 square feet of holiday magic.
It looks so stunning,
we are so thankful to be recording here. Thank you to them. We got the finishing of this countdown. I think this was one of our best countdowns ever.
I am full. I'm full.
So you're full of excitement. I love it.
I can't.
He can't be
help.
stopped, everybody. So we'll have 5 through 1 of this countdown next week. Make sure you have a good week. Since this is coming out right before the election, let's all love each other. Let's all remember that we're all good people, and we're all trying to get through this life together. So hopefully you're doing well, you're staying safe, you're being healthy and full.
Yes.
And we'll close this one out, as we always do, by saying Merry Christmas.
And happy holidays.
We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.
See ya.
That was a good one.
That was a good episode. I like that a lot.